Hi, everybody. Will here with Interview Chair, brought to you by Canine Chronicle TV and Dog Show Tips. This week on the chair, we have Michael Pesare from Glenanton Skye Terriers. So sit back and listen to Michael's journey. Hi, everybody. Will here with another Interview Chair. Today on the Interview Chair, we have Michael Pesare from Glenanton Skye Terriers. How are you, Michael?
I'm great, Will. It's good to be with you.
It's good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while, so in person.
I know. I think COVID really messed everything up.
Oh, it sure did. What's the weather like down there? Is it as hot as it is up here?
It's pretty hot today, yeah.
Yeah.
Got too close to 100.
Oh, yeah. On the weekend, at one point, I guess, at the dog show, they were saying it was 115. So that's too hot.
That's scary.
Too hot.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't go that day. I went and visited on the Saturday. Then on Sunday, I thought, I'm not going. So.
Yeah, I entered just Friday of the Doswell shows, and that was it. And I think I made the right call in hindsight.
Smart. All right, let's start. Tell me, Michael, how did you get started in this sport? And how old were you when you got started? 2 points.
All right. I've enjoyed listening to some of your interviews, especially a recent one with Debbie Butt, where she kind of grew up in the sport.
Yeah, she sure did.
For my wife and I, we both, had dogs and were pretty active pet owners as children, but we really didn't gravitate to the sport of dogs until we were, in our mid-20s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're, by some standards, a little late to it, but we definitely embraced it.
I think I've seen you forever. How can that be?
So we were on a trip and visiting Edinburgh, Scotland. We're newly married, and my wife picked up a paperback copy of Greyfriars Bobby for our niece. Thought it looked like a cute little book. Well, I learned more about the story of Greyfriars Bobby, and when we got home from Scotland, I went to the local library and picked up what turned out is actually the best book on Skye Terriers. I have it right here. It's Dr. Montgomery's book. And I
might have that one.
Yeah, this is...
I might, it looks familiar.
Great book. I kept renewing it and just fell in love with the breed. And we made an appointment to visit with a breeder in Massachusetts. We were living in Rhode Island at the time. And one thing led to another, and in August of 90, we got our first Skye Terrier.
And who was the breeder?
Well, the breeder was a woman who didn't breed a lot. She had only had a couple of litters, but her bloodlines go back to Judy Davis in California.
Okay.
Talacan. But as it turned out, there was a woman living in Newport, Rhode Island, which is about a half hour from us, who had Skyes for many, many years. And she befriended us, kind of made contact with us and was very supportive of us. She became a very dear friend and mentor. And she introduced us to Ben and Donna Dale.
Okay.
At that time, we were still living in Rhode Island, but we started to, we were getting more active in showing. So we started making the trips down to their home in Pennsylvania. And the rest...
You still just have the one dog at this point?
Well, we shortly after we got him, we got his litter sister, but we never showed her.
Okay.
We showed him, and we had some success early on. In fact, one of the more memorable trips is we came down to one of the first Columbia Terrier Association shows in Maryland with our first Skye, and we took Best of Breed at the Potomac Skye Terrier Club Specialty under Judge Tom Ward, who is a well-known Westie breeder.
Yeah, that's right. And that was your first dog?
Yeah, our first Skye Terrier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That was a good step.
Another memorable win was same dog. We attended
What
Bucks.
was his call name?
His call name was Brindle.
Okay, Brindle. Okay.
Yeah. We came down for the Bucks County show. And actually, Roy Holloway was the judge. He was still in the classes. He was, about a year and a half, maybe 2 years old. Wouldn't you know it, he gave us Best of Breed over a number of top specials at Bucks. Well, that really solidified.
I think it did.
We were hooked.
A good way to get hooked that fast. So many people start off the other way and they're trying to work their way up. And like I remember I was talking to somebody today about my parents' first dog, and it was an Irish setter, and it was, we had a lot of work to do. If my mother hadn't figured it out early, we would probably still be trying to fix her.
Yes. Yeah. You kind of look back on these milestone events and you think, they all happened for a reason, and they're part of the fabric of your involvement in the sport.
So where did you go from there with Brindle? He's already been doing all this winning.
Well, I mentioned earlier that we became friends with Ben and Donna Dale, and they had Glanton kennels. So they were longtime breeders. They started the breeding program in 1970. And so by the time we were getting involved, they were kind of moving towards the end of their career. They were well into their career in dogs, and had a lot. They, of course, had a lot of success with Skye Terriers, top producers, best in show winners, specialty winners, but couldn't have asked for better mentors. I mean, they took us under their wing, and then we got a bitch from them.
Let's go back a bit. How did you meet them?
Through our friend from Rhode Island who lived in Newport, Rhode Island.
And you just arrive at their doorstep and say, "Hi, I'm Michael."
No, she was friends with them. She got one of her first guys from them.
Okay.
So she made the introduction.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
got it.
And, I was pretty good with computers, and Ben was getting active with, he was getting involved with email, and, we started emailing and then made plans to come down and visit them at their home. And we later started, getting together for holidays.
Wow.
Big show weekends. So
yeah.
Donna often said to close friends that we were the children they never had. And they were very, of course, both of them now are no longer with us. I can explain the sequence of events there, but I was just totally enchanted with the Glanton story and had a real interest in learning everything I could learn about the Glanton breeding program. So, I remember at one point, well, I should explain, by 1997, my wife and I had decided she had a job opportunity in Harrisburg, which is not far from where they lived. So she took the interview, and sure enough, she got the job. So we made the move from Rhode Island to Pennsylvania in 1997. And during the transition, while we were selling our house in Rhode Island and buying a house here, we lived with Ben and Donna for about 4 or 5 months.
That would have been good.
Yes.
To hear everything then.
Yes. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
really.
Now, how many dogs did they still have dogs at that point?
They did. Yep. And
what did you do with your dogs? Did they just all stayed together, or you just brought them with you when you moved in for the 4 months?
right, we did.
Yeah, okay.
We combined the two dog households. It was extraordinarily generous of them to allow us to stay here.
You were their kids.
Yeah, it really. And we helped them around the house. We did projects in the yard and different things. Also, Donna was invited to judge the Skye Terrier Club of Finland specialty that summer. So just before we moved to our newly purchased home, we stayed here, and then Donna and Ben went, and Donna judged in Finland, and they came home with 2 Skies from Finland. And well, one of the Skies was quite impressive, and they incorporated him into their breeding program. And it was really the first time at that point, 35 years, that they had done a real outcross.
Okay. I thought when they came back with 2, they were going to say, "Here, Michael, here's one for you."
Well, one of them I did show a little bit. At that point, she was not a little older girl. She was bred once, but the dog is the one that really sort of set Glanton on its next chapter.
Yeah.
I look at the breeding program of 55 years in sort of 2 phases, from 1970 to 2097 or so, and then 97 to the present day.
What was this dog's name from Finland?
His name was Eddie. He was actually born in the UK. He had a Finnish sire and some English bloodlines behind his dam. Mariquita Flash Exclusive was his name.
So there was pre-Eddie and post-Eddie at Glanton. Now, is that Glanton, and is that the same as yours? You're Glanton.
Yes, the same. It's
same.
Glanton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Glanton. So say it all in one word, Will. Glanton. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a story to itself that you took over Glanton then.
Yes, what happened is tragically Donna Dale passed away in 2001.
Okay.
She had some issues with blood clots, and unfortunately she and Ben flew to Wales in 2001. And she had a pulmonary embolism there.
Oh, jeez.
And just such a gut punch. I mean, such a loss. So after that, Ben asked Maida and I and another friend who lives in Ohio if we would be interested in joining him to keep the program going, which we absolutely were thrilled to have that chance, and I can honestly say, from that moment, from that tragedy and that loss of Donna forward, everything we have done has been, to honor her memory. And I often describe it to people, it would have been very easy at that point to sort of coast on the successes that they had. Sure. But Maida and I were very committed to carrying it forward in a way that would honor Donna and keep it vital, not just coasting.
You've done that, so.
I hope so. That has been really my goal. And so fast forward to 2010, Ben passed away. So from 2010 to the present, it's been pretty much my wife, Maida, and myself. Our friend in Ohio is still connected, but not as active as she was.
Yeah. When did you have your first Glanton litter, you and Maida?
So the first Glanton litter that we had in our house was in December of 2001.
Okay.
And so Donna passed away in March. 9/11 happened in September. And then in December, we had a litter here in our house, and it was a litter of 10.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was a good litter. It was one of the dogs went to Denmark and is behind a dog that came back to us later that is the father of Archer. So there's a connection there. Yeah.
That's interesting. But don't get us too far ahead, though. I want you to stay back there and work our way through. So,
all right.
So do you want to start with that first litter?
Well, what I'd like to do is, so that outcross of 97 produced 1 bitch and 7 dogs. The bitch from that litter, Ben and Donna kept. After Donna passed away, it was really something I wanted to do. I wanted to bring Emily, her name was, out and special her. Not easy to do. It was at the time that, Gene and Matt had Finsky Oliver out, and then subsequently his son, Finsky Excalibur. And here I am with a bitch trying to compete.
Off the voice, yeah.
But she did well. She won some groups. She won some specialties. Actually, Dick Mean, gave her best of breed at a specialty in about 2000. No, 2002. It was right after a year after Donna died.
That's how my first introduction to Skies was through Dr. Mean, because he gave my mother-in-law one, Maverick. And we always made fun because Maverick showed great for Sharon. But she would lift Dr. Mean. He'd get talking away, and he'd just turn and poor Maverick. He couldn't see, and he wouldn't know where he was going. So I would just take Maverick from him and say, "Okay, you go to the ring, Doc, and I'll take the dog to you," because he was our house dog at that point. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember meeting Sharon in those early years, probably around early 2000s at Montgomery.
It was always interesting going to Dr. John's office, because you go up there. It went to his Toronto office. You'd open the door, and 2 Skies and a French Bulldog would come at you full force. Right? You didn't know what to do. If you should jump back from the door and wait for them to settle in, or what.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That was always an adventure. Okay, I jumped in there. Go ahead.
No, that's good.
Dr. Mean gave her a specialty.
Yeah, I tell the story of Emily because I kind of view her as the foundation of the post-Donna period of Glanton.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, and everything, just about everything that we have had since then has come from Emily. She was quite a nice producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Where did you go from there? Who would you breed her to first to establish it?
Well, it's interesting. What we did, the first breeding that we did was a repeat of the breeding that Donna did. So it was a line-bred Glanton dog. We took her back to him, and it was the story of that breeding was quite amusing because it was amazing that it all worked out. He had to come up to us from a friend in Tennessee, and he was an older dog at that point. And I'm not even sure how the timing all happened, but we ended up at a show with him and Emily, and we had to do the breeding. We did a progesterone test, and we had to do the breeding at the hotel.
Oh, wow.
And Scotty Breeder, a friend of ours, helped us with the breeding, and sure enough, that produced a litter of 9.
Now, is 10 a big litter for Skies?
Yeah, the average is 6 to 8.
Okay. It just sounded big when you said 10.
10 is good sized litter, not unheard of.
And Emily had 9. So
She had 9. Yep.
okay.
Yep. Then one of those offspring was a male named Boz that I ended up showing to number 1 All Systems in 2007, I think it was.
And that was your first litter.
Yeah, one of. That was one of. That was the breeding that we did in 2004.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was.
That was still out of Emily.
Emily, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And success seems to follow.
In that same litter, he never bred on, believe it or not. It turned out he was sterile.
Okay.
But his 2 litter sisters, we decided to keep both of them. And they were very good producers for us. I mean, they're really behind. They're behind Archer. They're behind everything that we have now. B and Glinda.
When did Archer come along?
So Archer came along in 2017.
Okay.
So one of Glinda's granddaughters, we sold to friends of ours who live near Washington, D.C. They have been involved in dogs for many years, but this was their first Skye Terrier from us, first Skye Terrier. And they decided they wanted to breed her, which was great. So we worked with them and guided them and let them breed her to Dexter, who was a dog.
Which one was Dexter?
Dexter is a dog from the Czech Republic that comes down from our very first litter.
Oh, okay. So still part of the family then.
Yeah. And that produced 4 boys, one of which was Archer.
Now, did you pick Archer out and say, I'm taking this one and keeping him?
Well, what happened is when the pups were about 12 weeks old, our friend Alan, who had the litter, sent the litter to us so that we would continue to raise them and socialize them. So we had all 4 boys here for a while. And from
4 Boy Skies. Now that they all get along, I guess they're puppies still. So
yeah. And
I know at docs we always kept them apart, the boys. So.
Oh yeah. No, that was fine. And Antonelle, his owner, and the young woman who showed Archer to all of his successes, she really liked him right from the beginning, and he really did stand out from the 4. I mean, they were all nice. They were all really nice, but there was something about him that was very. You kind of knew.
Did you ever show Archer?
I have shown him a little bit. Yeah, if like Antonelle's on taking a vacation, she would send him to us to stay, and I would show him. So I've had him. I won the group out at one of the Canfield shows one year under Desi Murphy. But really,
he's always been a fan, hasn't he?
His big successes were all Antonelle's work. I mean, she did such a good job with him.
Give me some highlights.
Oh my. Well,
I warned you, Michael.
Yeah. So early in his career, his very first show was Montgomery. Well, no, not his first show. Maybe his 3rd show was Montgomery. And he was like 7 months old. And he got Best Puppy and Reserve Winner's Dog. That you kind of knew that his trajectory was moving up. But early on, I'm thinking here, he was not very old. He was maybe under 2. He got a Best in Show at the Kennel Club of Philadelphia show.
Oh, wow.
This was the day before the National Dog Show.
The National Show? Mm-hmm.
Yep. So he won 3 all-breed Best in Shows, all with Antonelle handling, and 5 reserve Best in Shows.
Nice.
But, his most memorable win was Montgomery in 2024 as a veteran, from the veterans class. handled by Antonell all the way.
I watched that one.
Under a can breeder judge who we have the utmost respect for, Lydia Hutchinson. Yes. And then in
everybody was just so happy when she won. It was just there was no bad words. There was nothing to say. Everybody was just so thrilled. It was incredible. It's one of those wins that just seemed to make everybody happy.
I know it was. Maida loves to take photos and videos, and we were outside of the ring, had people in front of us, and Maida was, trying her best to take some photos, thinking, well, he's probably not going, maybe he'd get a placement, maybe, but even then, we had no idea what was to come. And Maida was video recording it on her iPhone, and you can hear her in the recording screaming when Lydia selected.
You gotta love that.
Such an amazing shock.
Yeah, you gotta love that, man.
And then the Westminster in February.
I was there as well.
Yeah.
And again, like I can still see RC congratulate her. He seemed as happy as she did. It was like it's one of those dogs and one of those teams everybody just loved.
It was so much fun following her career, and she's quite a student. As she has often said in interviews, she talked to a lot of the professionals, became friends with some of the professionals, and picked their brains. Well, always asking questions of us, and you can see she's processing and putting together pieces of information. It was.
I love it when someone's that enthusiastic because it's fun. It's fun to teach them when they're like that. So it really is.
Yes.
So what's next? That's a pretty big pinnacle. So what can you do now? You got something coming up? It's plans.
I don't want to put any pressure. We have a litter of 3 that are sired by Archer in the house right now. They're 9 weeks old. And who knows? We like what we see. And
are you two one of those or a pair of those breeders that knows exactly how their family grows?
To some extent, you definitely can see, you look at them and you definitely can see what came before them. But
I've had some clients that I'll go look at their litters with them back when I was showing dogs, and I'd be like, oh, I really like this one. And she would say, no, that one's going to end up doing this. This is the one that's going to end up what we want. And they were always right. So it's just because they've been breeding for 40 years, they knew exactly how their family grew. So
no, that's a good point, Will. I mean, I think to some extent, you get this feeling in your gut, but then there are certain, the adult teeth have to come in, and make sure they have the correct bite, and the ears have to come up, and time certainly helps. If you have a little more time to evaluate. Yeah,
I'm that way as well. I like to watch them in stages. Again, I don't have to do a lot of hands-on anymore, but I have a couple of people I co-breed with, and I'll go watch the litters and give my opinion. But they Jill Taylor, who I show Irish setters with, she knows exactly how they're going to finish up. She's just one of those breeders that just knows her family. So.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the stories that I like to tell is in that litter that I was telling you about. Out of Emily, the 2 litter sisters that we ended up keeping, we had an inquiry from overseas, and the gentleman he said, I only want the pick of the litter. Well, it worked out better that she didn't go to him. She stayed with us because, as you know, what is the pick? I mean, what did he need in his program? The pick in one person's eyes and what they need for their own breeding program might be number 2 or 3 in the other. So there was quite a lesson, I think, in that, and we feel so fortunate that we're able to keep both of those girls because
Yeah, for sure. It's the pictures are so important. Like, and like when I talk to Jill about such things, someone will say they want the pick, and they'll come to the kennel and they'll go through them and they'll pick and I'll say, you might want to ask Jill. You might want to ask Jill. It's nice that you picked out your own, but you might want to ask Jill. So,
yes, so true.
yep.
Yeah.
So you've never gone ahead and started judging, Michael? How
Not
come? I know you've done sweepstakes, Tony. You've done sweepstakes and whatnot. Didn't that give you the bug to want to go out there? I know you're still really active showing dogs, but it's like a natural evolution, you would think, you know.
I know, and I've thought about that, and I think part of it is, I will say, you know, like my wife Maida and I, our approach to this is, there are some lessons that we've learned from our mentors that are universal, and then there are some elements of it that are like filled with emotion and this desire to honor our mentors.
Sure.
And I feel like the preservation of the breeding program and the vitality of the breeding program is where my heart is. And I don't know. I you know, when I have done the judging, it's kind of fun to be out there and evaluating dogs, but it's not quite the same for me.
Oh, I know you don't get to take the best dog home. You know, it's one of those things. I always enjoyed that part. But
Yeah.
What if the Sky Club said, "Okay, Michael, we want you to judge the national specialty"?
Yes, I guess that's always a possibility, right?
Yeah, for sure it is. I would think it's a good possibility.
Yeah. No, I'd be crazy not to.
Yeah, you'd be hard to turn that one down.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this now for quite some time. Some dogs from the past that you weren't connected with that have left an impression on you. I want them from the past. I don't want dogs that are being shown now or anything, but dogs in the past that made a real impression on you that you've never forgotten. And again, it doesn't have to be a Sky. Like I'm an Irish Setter Beagle guy, but I still have dogs in my head that just their sheer presence, because they knew they were better than the rest, they just left an impact.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Well, I will say, you know, it's interesting because some of the biggest winners that Ben and Donna Dale had in the Glanton program, I never actually saw in person, only photos and videos, which like some of the dogs that I would love to have seen. But the first Sky that really just bowled me over was the dog that Matt and Jean brought over from Finland, from the kennel Finn Sky Oliver. And so that would have been in the mid-90s. I think he was on the World Show. And he was really a very impressive dog. Beautiful condition, beautiful coat, moved nicely. His breed type was strong. So he definitely made a mark on me. I think shortly thereafter, I remember seeing Mick in the ring.
Yeah, that's a hard one to miss.
God, I could think of a few others. Kathy Nelson she had a bitch, Pennywise Gambit. I think she came after Butler, the one that won the group at Westminster. She was just like, I to this day, I hold her up as, you know, the blueprint of the breed, Dandy Dinmont Terriers. Yeah. We were so fortunate. We consider her a friend and one of our mentors.
How did you meet? Just at shows?
I kind of didn't go into that, but when we first moved to the area, you know, at that time, and it's still the case to some extent, but this area was home to a lot of breeders that had a lot of success and were just terrific people. Kathy Nelson, Dandy Dinmonts, Tom and Billy Ward, Westies. They were, at around the time we were getting established here in this area, they were at the top of their game. They had 2 Westies that were getting all breed best in shows. George and Danny were their call names. Yeah, from their program. Very impressive.
And when you're in an area like that with such depth in your group,
yes,
it makes you have to try harder too.
100%. I agree.
Yeah.
I was going to say that too, when I was coming up, so to speak, in the sport, there was no owner handler group. You either sunk or
right.
on your ability to compete toe to toe with the professionals. And I
think that's important. I think the owner handlers series has really come a long way, but I little bit worry about that aspect of it, Michael. I worry that, like yourself, you had to compete with all these terrier handlers that were incredible in their day. Incredible. You had to compete with them. Yes. You had to up your game that much to be even competitive with them.
Yes. One of the groups I won with Emily, Peter was group 2 with the Airedale. Peter Green. I mean, yeah. I think I look back on that, but they have always been so gracious and supportive, and to look at them and to observe them and just to learn from them by observing them, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Oh, exactly. And it makes it memorable. So that day you beat Peter with the Airedale bitch, that was probably what you remember the most. You beat Peter, because Peter was never easy. He was incredible. He was an incredible competitor, and he won a lot. So, I always said when I grew up, I wanted to be Peter Green.
Yeah. But such a wonderful gentleman, always.
Oh, my God, great. Yes, he's always been.
Yep. And, competing at that, if I did get to the group, it was important for me. If the judge looked down that lineup and they weren't sure if I was a professional myself or an amateur, and that was my goal, to model the way, not only the way they handle, but the way they carry themselves.
Yeah. You have to walk in there like you belong there. There's no question. Yeah. So, and you do. You've been competitive ever since I followed you. So,
thank you. And I agree with you. I think that to be fair, the owner handler competition definitely has many valuable things about it. I know good friends who compete in it. But like you, I think it still comes down to the person. You have to keep your standards high.
Yeah. You've got to always try to push and try to be better than you were yesterday, I think. And yes. If it gets too complacent out there, people get complacent.
Yeah.
They don't grow. So,
well, and I will say, there have been times that I've been in the groups out there and the professionals who, a lot of them I admire greatly, but some of them would be in the ring and they'd be talking to each other or looking at their cell phones. And here I am, I'm watching the judge. I'm making sure my dog looks good. And there have been times when they kind of get complacent. Yep.
Yeah. Cell phones make people complacent, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I talked earlier, you said you have the young 9 weeks old, you said?
Yes.
9 weeks old? There's no way to decipher glands, and you're just going to keep going, aren't you?
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. Yeah.
Have you got litters in your head that you want to do that haven't even been thought of yet? Have you planned that far ahead?
We do, yes, we do. I mean, we have this young litter, but then we have some dogs that are, let's say between 6 months old and a year and a half old that are coming along, and they're all moving down the chessboard, at the same time. We have a very promising young 6-month-old who's sired by another dog from Finland, who I actually won Montgomery, the national specialty at Montgomery, the last time Dr. Mean judged there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this dog is sired by him.
So that should hopefully exciting and keep things going.
Yes. And he was bred to an archer daughter. So we've had a few breedings now that are kind of combining archer with this dog from Finland that won at Montgomery from Kennel Linham, another successful Finnish breeder.
They seem quite successful in Finland with your breed.
Yes, they're very serious and study pedigrees and do health testing and
they seem like they're competitive wherever they go now. Finnish dogs, and they've done that in a lot of different breeds. It's fun to watch. So if a youngster came up to you and said they wanted to start breeding Skye Terriers, what advice would you give them?
Well, I guess I'm going to travel down the road that is a well-worn path, but, try to get the very best bitch you can get to start.
Yeah.
No question.
People make that mistake too. That's the first step, and they make that's a big mistake. They don't think about the best. I think it was someone told me the best one you can afford.
Yeah. And I think, it has been noted in other interviews. I think actually Debbie mentioned it in her interview, that the people that are well established in their breeds and if someone takes a sincere interest and really wants to learn and needs would like the assistance, it's there. It's you can get it.
Oh, no question.
I just fear now, a lot of there are so many what I would call alternate paths now with social media, and that those well-established pathways to success they're sort of in competition now with social media and
it's become an instant gratification era. People just want it right away. And when you think about some of these kennels that have worked, they plan things down the road before they get that great winning dog they want, but they knew what they wanted to do. They knew the recipe, the menu was going to be. But some people just can't handle that. So they want to win now, or there's just too many distractions now for everybody. There's too much else to do.
Right. And the path that the Dales took, is they kept line breeding. They established what they wanted, and they just kept kind of going back to the well. They knew their pedigrees, they knew their dogs, and I think there's a lot to be said for that too. I mean, there's so much now, I think, lack of interest in the learning those pedigrees and studying the dogs behind them or represented in the pedigrees.
I remember when I was a kid, I would study them all the way back, and in both breeds, Irish setters and beagles. So I knew, and I tried to figure out how they progressed and which way they went. So it's interesting. It's one of those things that if you don't learn it in this sport, you don't even think about it, because everybody just wants to just buy a dog and win now.
During that summer that we were living with Ben and Donna, I remember one night asking her if we could sit down. I had my laptop. This was in '97, and I wanted to go through and start creating a list of all the AKC champions that Glanton bred. And we started putting that list together, and it took us a number of nights of work. But the byproduct of that little project was Donna going down memory lane for multiple nights.
That's where the most fun comes. Yeah.
Yes.
Because you remind them, you spark something and they start telling a story about, I remember that dog. I remember this dog. I remember this time. Yeah, those are important stories. And we've all been through those ones.
And I would say, that's the way they were as mentors. They weren't, Michael, sit down. We're going to do a brain dump here and give you all this information. It was more just through conversation and stories. And my interest was such that if I got a piece of information here and I joined it with another piece of information that I had previously learned, it's like, putting a puzzle together.
Right. No. I think it's important learning through stories because you get a better feel for it than someone just throwing information at you. So
yes.
So I asked this question of everybody, Michael.
Yep.
And I don't know if you're ready for it. Maybe you are because you've watched some interviews. But if you were to meet the 20-year-old Michael now, is there any advice you give him? But it sounds like you guys have been following the path you wanted to follow. But I'm going to still throw the question at you. Any advice for 20-year-old Michael?
Maybe start younger. I think that's the beauty of it, though. You can start at any time.
And if you had started younger, you might not have had the same influence of the Dales. Like it's all about timing. So,
no, that's true. No, I guess the only thing there are definitely times when you're in the early part of your career in dogs where, you're so filled with emotions about certain dogs, and tamping that down is important too, because you need to have the emotional component for success.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But you also have to be judicious and make sure you're making the best decisions based on analytical.
Right. Yeah. You have to be realistic. It's, you have a great dog, but there's other people with great dogs as well. So you have to keep things in perspective and be realistic about things. And like I've always thought, it comes down to timing. It really does. How we succeed in this sport. So.
Yeah. Timing and just working hard to be at that moment in time when the opportunity comes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have to be there so you don't miss the opportunity of meeting the Dales.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you didn't get that introduction? Where would you be now?
Well, bingo.
Right.
Honestly, it would have been a much, much different path. I guess
it would have been a harder path, probably too. It would have been harder. You may have ended up, who knows, because of your love for the breeds, you may have ended up where you are, but it would have been a harder path. So
yes, it would have been different, because one of the things that this might be a good way to end. One of the things that Donna was so good at is that she always viewed Gleanton the family of dogs. Never too much emphasis on one particular dog, but rather the success of the family of dogs. And she
that's so important, Michael. I think that when I'm watching, it doesn't matter what breed, if I can start picking out families of dogs, they've done a good job, I think, in my mind. If you can pick out the Glanton family, if you can pick out the Chniga family, if you can pick them out, they've done a good job with what they wanted to do, So
yes, I feel like that's one of the in the new era, we're kind of losing that, those distinct bloodlines and the interest in the distinct bloodlines too.
It was always interesting watching Mrs. Clark judge, especially at the DCA, the Poodle Club, because she always picked out two sets of families and almost ran them off against each other. But and I don't know, she in her head, she knew they were family, but she probably didn't know for sure they were families. But that it was fun. Cool. It was always fun to watch. It was always fun to watch. You never knew what was going on. At first, when she first started doing it, you'd be like, "What the heck is going on?" Then it all came together.
Gives me the chills just to think of that.
Oh, I know, me too.
Yeah.
I remember going to the Beagle National. I don't know. Do you remember when she started putting the winner right in the center?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm at the Beagle National. I convinced my client to come that time. It was in Colorado. And it was a good entry. And she did, I knew exactly what she was doing. Like she pulled out all the boys and ended up with her best breed winner because the dog was winning the breed. Then their bitches from the back until the center for opposite sex. Well, I could hear my client who didn't go to a lot of shows. Oh, we came all this way and we're going 17th. I could hear him. But we got to win.
She would do that, and then she would start sending them gating them in different directions too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm feel so fortunate to have, come into the sport when she was actively judging, not exhibiting, but judging.
Yeah, judge. Yeah, that's where she was a great handler. Apparently, I was too young, but she sure excelled and taught us all when she was judging. So,
I have one little story about Archer's grandmother. Archer's grandmother. I took Ed Biven was the judge at our national specialty. This was about 2012 or so. He handed me the ribbon. He said, I really like her. She's going to be a good brood bitch. Like, wow.
Yep.
Whoa. I'll cherish that.
Oh, exactly. Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome,
and,
Will.
I'm sure I'll see you somewhere down the road. Somewhere.
I hope so.
Yes.
Get to shake your hand in person.
All right. It's good to see you, Michael.
All right, Will.
All right. All the best.
Take care.
Thank you, Michael. Good interview. If you like what you're seeing here, make sure you press the like, share, and subscribe button. And don't forget about the podcast, The Dog Show Drive, every week on any podcast service and YouTube. Take care, guys.